first went to Fleetwood a year ago, before the Cod War. 5 men died in a fire on the trawler Dynas, sailing from this Lancashire port. After a drinking party aboard, 3 trawlermen had started a fire in their cabin to stop the ship from sailing. The fire got out of hand and the men were jailed for manslaughter. At first, people were reluctant to explain to us how that kind of thing could happen, but bit by bit they began to talk about their lives. The older people with resignation, the younger men angry and sometimes overheated. None were content, and we came to realize that the problems of the town lay beyond the sensations of the Dynas affair.
With one picture house and a bingo hall, and that's the lot. Fleetwood on the Hall is just fishing industry, cabin and pubs. There's not much at all apart from this. Without the fishing industry, the town's nothing. You can't do anything at all in Fleetwood without somebody knowing about it and seeing you and this, that, and the other. Everybody knows everybody else's business. It's that closely knit.
We've all sat there watching it in the floor. We did that well. We got past this soul.
Madeline, quick! Go on now, will you? Find a mile.
You get a decky in Fleetwood if he's not been able to get a ship or he's had a walk around, a sprag or anything. You always get another decky that's landing that'll give him a backhander, maybe £4 or £5. They look after each other like brothers. And if you get a skipper, a retired skipper or anything, and he's in a club where there's one of the deckies has just landed and picked up his money, you can guarantee he'll buy his drink for him maybe all afternoon. Out there bouncing about for 3 weeks, wishing he was home, and the wife also at home, wishing the husband was in from sea. It's just, you're just wishing your life away all the time.
Well, don't you feel funny when you leave home?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like I do? Like you want to cry?
No, I don't feel like crying, but sometimes I don't feel like going.
Same as me.
And yet you still go?
You still go?
Coming up that last 6 hours, coming up to tide, yeah, it seems to drop. You know, it seems to go, the clock seems to go faster, you know what I mean?
Well,
You just feel down in the dumps.
It's not bad when you let go.
No, once you let go, you know you've got to go there.
And do you know which is the worst time for me?
When?
When you go through if I watch you away and you go through the lock pits, or when you go night tides and I'm going back to bed and I think, well, he stood up on deck, or, you know, the wind's blowing and I think about your dad, but not quite as much as you. I don't know why, but you're different.
Probably because I'm younger.
I don't know, even when Wilfred got to 20, you know, when he was going, it was still the same, even if I knew Wilfie was going when he was married.
Yeah.
He was going away that tide, and then I knew it was an early morning tide. And you automatically wake up if any of your children are going to sea. And then you don't sleep again, you just lay waiting for the blowing of the ships. And
yeah, but some ships don't always blow, do they?
No, and it depends on which way the wind is, but at the same time, you're listening, you're waiting. And you wait for the key coming back in the door to say you haven't gone, and then just needs that taxi, you know, to come through the door, throw up at the door and oh, it's a wonderful feeling, and yet you know afterwards that the next day it's going to all happen again. Funny to describe. You just feel as if everything is dead. Your stomach turns over. You listen for weather forecasts and wonder how they're going down. It's going down. You feel as if I feel as if it's harder for them to get from here to Iceland than what it is for them to do it for fishing. I feel as if you're in more open water.
Is that why you won't wash well?
I wouldn't wash when you went to sea.
You won't wash well?
No, I wouldn't wash a fisherman away.
Wash your fisherman away.
I won't wash a fisherman away. I wouldn't wash a towel if it was you was going to sea. Either of you.
And why is that?
Wash them away.
We wash a fisherman away. It's just a superstition, I suppose.
Is it a fadder?
It's a superstition, but I think that it's because you're in such open waters that I feel, well, if you was going to be washed overboard, it would be then. Not while you're fishing.
If it was only another day, it'd be better, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, I'd never say no to extra
I mean, the
days
first
if
day they're that tired, they're not really human. And the second day you're busy with your landing, aren't you? And you're dashing hither and thither, going to the office for his money and that. And then the third day they're that miserable because they're going to sea that they're like zombies. He is anyway. He can taste it in his tea and he can taste it in his fags. Nothing tastes right. All tastes of the sea, you say, don't you? And he's... I always say to him, you might as well have gone the tide before, because he just sits there like as though he's already gone to sea in his mind. So really you could do with another day in between, because there's only the middle day that's really natural, isn't it?
2 weeks at sea and 3 weeks in dock.
I said, put your wheel to starboard to try and put a stern to the wind, which was all we could do. Well, that was it. I jammed myself up and she just collapsed the ship. The bridge collapsed, the windows collapsed, the wood collapsed, everything. The telegraphs wouldn't work, nothing. And I have never, I've been going to sea 9 years now, and I've seen seas, I've seen a lot of things. I've been washed off my feet, I've been hanging over the wall, I've done a lot of things. But I have never felt as I did then. I thought, that's it, I thought. And then she stopped. And all I thought then, I'll have to ease her down, see, because we was going too fast. And then that's when I looked on the port side, and the port side was just in ruins. All the fore end of the ship, you couldn't see it for water. All the after end was flooded, everything was flooded. For that 10 minutes, it was bad, I'll tell you, you know. And for that 2 minutes, when that sea climbed over that ship, she was underwater anyway.
Well, the night I heard it,
I didn't even know the man disappeared.
pulling beer. I just went up the bar. Well, I was like jelly. I went home and I listened to the wireless all night. Built my fire up, all on my own, just listening. Just for news, you know. But they are, they still go, don't they? Yeah.
Fleetwood is basically a fishing fraternity. And Fleetwood very largely depends on its livelihood for a fishing fraternity. Not only the fishermen themselves and the industries, but the shopkeepers and everyone else.
That's true. Everybody who lives in Fleetwood depends on this job, doesn't it? Depends on the job itself.
Oh, without the fishing at all, there'd be nothing.
No,
Because everything is a byproduct of the fishing. It's got to be the shopkeepers, the storekeepers, the filleters, the carters. Without it, Fleetwood would become a ghost town.
There isn't the employment in the area. I mean, Fleetwood is in more or less central of an already depressed area. But I mean, fortunately for us and the fishermen of like us, that our side of the depressed area is pretty successful industry.
They should have looked to the future.
Eric,
We
you were
know
saying
when
the
you're done
truth.
there,
We
you
should have done,
change, you know.
but we'd no backing.
No.
We'd
But as
no
we
backing.
say now, we have backing. Now,
You got a union.
we've got a
haven't you?
union.
That's
Well,
the engineers
that's what-
union is backing you.
No,
Not
no, we've got our own union now. We've got our own union. But that's what we're looking for now, a union. That's all we want is to back those lads up. Because I've said it before, I'm no disrespect for you lads, but I'd hate to finish up like you lads. That's the truth. I'm speaking the truth. Do you agree with me?
The truth never hurts.
No, the truth never hurt nobody. I'm not skipping nothing, am I? I'm just a decky. But they'll think, they've got to think, because it's bound to come. They'll say, well, look, he's a young kid. He's speaking his mind. And, but I can't see myself getting banned.
Do
Yeah,
it.
well, no, but it's about time someone spoke.
Well, I'll tell you this much.
If it was
If
for
you
him,
do,
not for me.
now listen, Harry, I'm telling you this, if you do, you'll be spragged.
Oh, well, we'll see about that.
What did it say? I told him.
Well,
We've
well,
had
put
it.
this way,
Now
someone's
listen,
got to
Harry,
speak up.
we've had it.
Someone's
We've
got
had
to
it.
speak up, hasn't he? That's
Well,
that's
you've
what
got
the
to-
trouble's been.
Well, why?
Nobody spoke up.
Well, why doesn't the union speak up?
We're trying, but nowadays it's come to that close of a thing. They've got to speak up. It's an impossible situation.
It's
gonna
got to happen.
It's
It's
going-
got to happen.
It's going to go with a bang. It is. It's going to go with a bang. There's going to be that much trouble. There is. The fishermen's just going to go. That's it.
Well,
They don't want it no more. They're not going to go see for slave labour for nobody.
You're not slave labor. It's always
Well,
been.
well, that's all you lads went for. Admit it.
Yes.
Was it?
Friendly.
We're not going to
We
stand
want,
for it.
we
That's
want
it.
to speak to the... We want the
If we get
largest
together-
stick on the table.
If we get together, that's it. That's the truth.
Can
I'll
you
speak
get
up. I don't
them
care if I say
together?
against the owners.
No.
You can't, can you?
No.
You've got to.
It'll never come.
Oh, sorry.
It'll never come. Because Fleetwood, they've never been man enough to stand together.
It's the main topic.
It's been going on for this bloody years, man, is that?
Well, it's finally come to an edge now. They're like that.
Well, why
They
didn't
have
they
a go
do
one
it
way.
before?
Man, you did shouting us about it before. Did you? No, you didn't, though. You admitted it, didn't you? You admitted it, didn't you? You admitted it. But now it's come to that final stage. You've got to go for it.
My opinion of these two young fellas is this. If the Trawlers will gamble what they do and what they earn and what they go through, why don't they credit it to these two? Because they've never done it all that time as the fishing industry has been in this boat. And That's from Skipper Weston. We got nothing. But it's up to these to make the sell. And if they don't, they're out. And that's true, isn't it?
It's the same idea as me.
Do you think yourself, Bobby, that we're going to win with the trawler owners? Because, I mean,
No,
they'll...
No, I don't think you will.
No,
Never.
you can't win a trawler owner.
You'll never win.
No, you
Not
can't
with a
win
trawler owner. Never.
You can't win a trawler owner.
If you owe him, if you owe him a halfpenny, he'll take it from me.
Well, I felt isolated in the beginning because of the fact that the office was entirely different from Blackpool. If it's not a silly sort of a thing to say, my office at Blackpool very often resembles a madhouse in the sense that the telephone's ringing, the members are coming in, problems are arising and so on. And this wasn't happening at Fleetwood. It was silent. And you know, I felt that I was in an office and the membership were elsewhere.
Went on to say that the skippers was the feudal barons of the town, and they lived in the outskirts in detached houses and bungalows and etc., etc. But he didn't emphasise, or he didn't go on to state the fact that all the present-day skippers and mates was at one time deckies and bosuns, and it was only your own ambition that put you where you was and give your wives and families a better standard of living.
I think that the crew earns every penny that they get. They're now in for a pay rise, which I think they've got. I'm not quite sure on that. But even if they haven't, they should have it. If they have, well, they well deserve it.
If the majority of British industry, or the working labour force of British industry, was asked to do 18 hours a day, what sort of pay packet would they be asking for? And I mean, you compare the British deep water fisherman and his deck crews, who do basically the most work, and they are the men that produce the fish when all's said and done. What sort of a pay packet would they be when one looks and sees, oh, well, the basic pay is £20 a week? This is for the work they do it alone. Apart from being separated from their families for 9 months in the year, the wives having to do 2 jobs, being father and mother to the children, and they've still got to provide for their home and everything else. There's no other branch of British industry anywhere that would go to see or go to do a job of work for about 2 shillings an hour. And that's all it boils down to, about 2 shillings an hour. Well, we're going back to slave labour, aren't we? All right.
You soon find out if you're a good gambler or if you've got your good luck. You'll soon find out if you can do it or you can't, because it'll pay off. If you keep changing grounds, or if you keep making trips and catching fish by making your own decisions, well, then you've got a bit of luck. So you play it up. Your luck can give out, of course, but whilst you've got the luck and whilst you're making the right moves, you always play it up, play it to the limit. You've got 18 men aboard the ship, and they more or less depend on you for a living. And if you do the wrong things, you take the wrong gambles, make the wrong moves, you can not only make it a mess up for yourself, but you've got the rest of the crew to think about. So you've got all the responsibilities of the ship, the safety of the ship, the safety of your men on board. And you've also got to look after them. You can make them happy, you can make them miserable.
You've only to stop thinking for a minute, and that could be a cracker. Could be a lot. You might get hung up in the warps, go through a bollard, all like that. Might get swilled over at wall. Quite a few have done in the past. I believe they give you £1,000 for that. That's the first prize, that, getting lost. Oh, it's dangerous enough, all right. If you just had to be caught napping, that's it, be the lot. My old man's right hand, he's had it done about 3 or 4 times. It's useless, it is. There's a finger missing and he can't bend the rest of them. What's left? That's 3 or 4 accidents to the same hand all the time, and he's very careful. Very careful indeed. He's a good fisherman and all this, that and the other. But it doesn't matter how good you are, you're bound to get caught for something before your fishing time's up. I reckon it's got high disability rate, this job, as regards the men who's walking around with digits missing and limbs and bad backs and one thing and another. Especially you get a lot of rheumatism and all because it's a very damp job. You're working in water and you're freezing all the time. It can't be healthy, that. It can't be.
If I went up to the gaffer this trip and I said, look, we want better conditions out there, he'd just stand and laugh at me. So if you want better conditions, you find another job. But there's nothing in Fleetwood to go to.
You just, if you you don't like it, get out. Try another firm, don't you?
Because you know for a fact you can't get out. You depend on them for your living.
They don't care what happens as long as them ships sail at the appointed time. But anything should upset that sailing as regards the men themselves, there's something wrong. In their mind, it what's put in right. And their idea of putting right is a reshuffle. Not to listen to the men's grievances, to get rid of the factor that's stopping the job from going on, that's all. If you come down to go to sea, and you've something to kick up hell about, you've half of the crew don't open their mouths and the other half do, that means half of the crew is out.
You see, we're only classed as casual labour, which is all of us, the whole crew. We're only classed as casual labour. So, personally, I'm as good as my last 2 trips. I'll probably get 2 or 3 trips, before I actually got the sack. But whilst you're making a lot of money at this job, you're a good fella, but once you start to slip, that's the time when everybody, well, not everybody, but quite a lot of people start looking down at you then. Once you start to slip on your gross earnings.
It is only now that the profits are a little bit better. Even now, they're not as good as they would be as that money we invested in another industry might be. There's no profiteering in this industry, you know. The companies are not making vast profits at the expense of poor exploited fishermen. There's no question of that at all. It is an up and down industry. This year may be a good year. Next year may be a bad year. And the year after that may be a bad year. But when you build a ship, you build it for 16 to 20 years. That's a long time. And it's a big investment.
I know from an owner who's got personal money in it, who's taken on 3 new ships in 4 years, I would have been far better over the last 20 years putting my money into gilt-edged. There's no 2 ways about that. But in the family business, you have got to continue modernising your fleet, irrespective of the vicissitudes of the trade, if you so wish to put it that way. You have got to develop your fleet all the way along, and you take the good with the bad.
Excuse me.
For the decky, there is no future. If he's a decky and chooses to stop a decky, there's no future for a skipper anyway. There's no, a firm doesn't, after 25 years, they don't just say, well, thanks, and here's a little cheque to help you go into that. They just fade out. Say, fuck me, I didn't know he'd finished fishing. There's blokes now, there's one doorman at the Cons in Fleetwood. He's 70-year-old, Bob Batty. They never so much as said to him, well, it was just, finished, tell you. There's no future for you. Because the firm, as I said before, the class is labourers. You're hired and fired as it pleases them. You've no form of contract or anything. If I came out of this ship, this trip, well, I'd just have to roam around until I got a ship in either in another firm or back in the same firm. But that's it after. There's no future whatsoever, really.
You're just like casual labourers, that's all, to be picked up when they want you.
To be used as they think fit. They just use you as they think fit, then when they think you're not fucking good to them anymore, we'll throw you aside and get somebody younger.
for my man, the union was neither use nor ornament. If you know what I mean. It was, I won't go too far. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's liable to come back to me, you know. But now this bloke, he seems willing enough to, you know, stick with us and do his job properly. And he's the type of bloke who, as it's been in the past, blokes have joined the union and they've been steadily been accumulating. But as time's gone by and nothing's happened, they've got disheartened and dropped out. See, they've been cutting their own throats.
You're asking a lot to ask a bloke to spend, say, 24 hours or 12 hours of his time running around union offices when he's only got 3 days in dock. The wives wouldn't like it. A lot of the crews don't like it, and that's mainly one of the things you're going to have to overcome to get to get the blokes in the union. See, they don't want to be... They've only got the 3 days in dock. They say, well, I don't want this, you know, to be mucked about. Whereas if you can say, well, if you go down there, join, take you half an hour, everything will be sorted out, and we'll let you get in touch here when all happens. This did do, but they're that frightened of spending 6 and 7 hours, you know, wasting time on their part. That's what they think it is.
We hope that that's all finished with now, that we've got a bloke who'll stick with us, do his job properly, and get us what we want.
The owners have got the monopoly. They own the stores, they own the ice house, they own the ships. In a way, they even own you, because if you don't do it, if you start booking them, you get the silent walkabout. Nobody wants that.
I would not countenance victimization of any kind at all in my company. And if I found somebody was applying this sort of pressure to the men, I would take action against it. I won't have that in the company. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether the employment is of a casual nature or of a permanent nature. A man is entitled to express an opinion. He's entitled to be heard. And I hope that I will listen to him. I mean, what my reaction thereafter is another matter, but it certainly would not be victimization.
Well, the only thing I was going to say was that if there is resentment in the industry, probably this documentary, if it doesn't do anything else, we've done a good thing to bring this to the forefront. At least we'll be able to probably sort it out. Because I wasn't under the impression that there was any resentment at all.
Yes, I would agree with that. If there is this resentment, then obviously we must deal with it. And the way of dealing with it is to examine rather thoroughly our whole communications methods with the men, with the fishermen, with their families, if you like. It may be that we have to develop it even further and teach them. When we teach them how to be fishermen, we perhaps have to teach them more about the methods of communication that are open to them. It's a matter of education.
the moment, they're just feeling around. But as you know now, the weather's not good enough to feel about further off. Over.
Hello, yeah, I say, well, what's the weather like with you now, Wal? We've made some ice as we've been coming down. It's not, you know, it's not too bad, like, it's fishing weather, as now, as we got shot, but it's freezing very hard over it.
Yes, well,
We shot at 3:15 in the afternoon. We all at 6:30, and I was late gutted at 5 o'clock the next morning, Mel. Smashing, isn't it? When it's running like that, bloody beautiful. Hey. It's a bloody job, John. So don't worry.
Good evening, Bill. That's fine, all right.
Good evening, Nick. Can you give me the today's trips, Nick? Today's trips and the prices, please. Over.
Okay, Bill. Just a minute. Yeah, the Boston Phantom.
Oh, I'd like.
No, this boat was designed for hake fishing in the Hebrides and as far north as Muckleflugger. When Fleetwood was a hake port, you know, a very big hake port, and that's what this class of ship was designed for catching hake. Of course, the hake market's crumpled and, you know, there's a lot of money to be earned down Iceland, so they send these ships to Iceland, but they're not really big enough. They're not big enough for the job that they do. They're all right in summertime. Quite a nice ship. She's a well-built ship. You know, plenty of equipment aboard, but in the winter time, they're just not big enough for the gear that they carry, the crew that they carry. You know, they're loaded down all the time with fuel, ice, water. So they suffer a bit.
Well, first of all, this particular vessel we're talking about was built originally for home water hake fishing. And because of the decline in the hake fishing, it was necessary to redeploy her. In redeploying her, it is necessary to put a bigger crew on the vessel. And in doing that, you're extremely limited in what you can cram into the space that was originally available for the home water fishing. On the question of entertainment, I would say that we have in the past expected, or not expected, but allowed the men to provide their own entertainment in that they take their own cards on board and that sort of thing. They are, after all, on a fishing voyage, and there is a lot of work to be done, not much time for relaxation.
You come up here for your 3 weeks and your 3 weeks floating about. You've no television, you've No morning papers. You don't meet people in the street because you're not in the streets. You just got to depend on, well, bits of information. Maybe somebody will come down and say, oh, I've heard this and that and the other.
Say, something's been going on while you've been in the dock. Something that you want to know about. You've no way of knowing. Might only be a small thing, but you'll be led there worrying about it in your book. Every time you finish worrying and worrying, at the end of the trip, you build it up that much. It really gets you down, you know. You can finish up turning your hair out over it. When you get home, you say, oh, well, that was all over 2 weeks ago. I don't know what you was worried about, love. You know, but you still feel it.
When you're going home now, you're excited, you know, and you want to see your wife and kids and all things like that. And personally, myself, I think little kids miss you as much as you miss them. Because my little lad, he's always saying to me, Mrs., when's my dad coming in, ma'am? And she'll say, oh, tomorrow night to shut him up, see? And next night they'll say, when's my dad coming in from sea? Like, she'll say, oh, tomorrow night. And he starts crying now, you know, and, oh, why does my dad have to go to sea and things like that? You miss kids, don't you? Yeah. Because when you're walking in your house and they see you walking in, the little eyes light up, don't they? My dad's in from sea and all that, you know what I mean? It's smashing in, really. Yeah. They all run to you and things like that, you know. They all say, you don't have to go back like you say, oh, I've got to go for more pennies, don't you, and things like that. You know, you have to more or less tell them off to shut them up, like, you know, keep them happy, see? Then you have to sneak away early morning, don't you?
At 27. 5 and 1 at 51. All the 3s at 33. 9 at 33. 11 at 3. All the 8s out. 2, 33. 59. 60. And 73. 18 on the 4 bar. Right, trying to go out into the next number on its own at number 6. 7 and 3, 73. 1 and 7 at 17. 3 and 1 at 31. On its own at number 5. 8 and 3, 83. 4 and 3, 43. On its own at number 9.
There is a call to the sea that many young men have. My son had it, and other people's families have it. And there's no accounting as to why a man does want to go to sea, but he does, and it's a calling. There's no two ways about that at all. And once a boy has decided or made up his mind to go to sea he goes, and you can't shake him. Many mothers have tried to dissuade their sons from going to sea, but it's very, very difficult. And my experience does show that if your son wishes a sea career, by all means let him go.
Yeah, and there is a gamble in this, you see. I mean, men like to gamble on this, and it is a gamble right from the off. I mean, it's a gamble for the people that buy the ships. It's a gamble for the men that goes in them right from the off. I mean, you can't come back and say, we're going to make this amount of money. It's a pure gamble. You're relying on the good efforts of the skipper and the crew for what they're going to pick up to a certain point. But I mean, I've had instances where a man has been going to sea for some time, and he said to me, oh, I'm packing up this trip. I've had enough of it. So, all right, packs up, he gets a shore job, goes to the local factory here. Within a matter of 12 months, or more than that, or less than that, he's back for another ship. So what have you come back for? Oh, I didn't like the shore job, too confined, I'd like to be back at sea again. And this happens quite a lot.
Yes, tremendous sense of freedom in going to sea, and on this gambling, I think it's not so much a gamble, but it's an adventure, it's an expedition. Each voyage is a new expedition, and the men stand to make either a lot of money or not so much money as a result of the fishing and the conditions at sea and so on.
You're quite right that each voyage is a new adventure. They really go off with a fresh heart each time, starting all over again. It's very,
pronounced. No matter how many troubles you've had in the previous trip, you're starting afresh.
People can fuck you up at this job, you know, and it's not as regards us, we're just hand rats us.
You get into the job, you just can't get out of it. Because you don't know nothing else, do you? You go that long, same as us. All we could do is labouring. We couldn't go for a skill job.
Well, me, I mean, when I started this job, I thought it was great, plenty of money. Which I did at the time. I was what, 17. I thought it was plenty of money. I was going in, I had 3 weeks' wages in my pockets when I started going decking. 3 weeks' wages, my poundage. I was just blowing it. I was having a good time. But when you get married, you realise it. It's too late then to back out.
We have a fleet which is entirely viable, which is being modernised very, very quickly, and I personally would not be worried at all in the future long term of this port as a fishing port.
The next generation of trawlers are going to be stern fishers or stern fishers plus. So, I mean, the future deckhand can look forward to a far more comfortable life at sea than he's got today.
The ordinary working man in the street, I think, has reached a point where he is saying, this is the end. We are not going to be knocked about anymore.
Trawling, the fraternity altogether, the seagoing fraternity, deckies, cooks, engineers, grazers, they found out they're not three separate factions, that they're one body of men. Now, years ago, I can remember, it was oil and water don't mix. This is a thing that the engineers never got on with the deckies, and the deckies, and the deckies never got on with the engineers, and the cook and the galley.
Everyone hated the
Well, it's got to the point now. They realise that they're one body of men working as one body, as a team. A team, that's what they are, a team. And if they can sort of stand by each other as a team, they've just found this through the young people. Now, through the young people, I'm not saying that the older generation, which I belong to, I told you before, much to my regret, but the youngsters now, they're standing out for themselves. We stood for too much, far too much off the gaffers, and we really did. And I think the people of my age and maybe older than me, I'll tell you that now, because we had to.
Years ago, there was about 10, 12, 15 in a family. People, like we talked about walkabouts before, they daren't have a walkabout. They've got a family to keep. They've got so many to feed, mouths to feed like that. They can't. So they've got to accept the dirt that the companies dish out. You go here or you're not going to sea for the next 3 weeks kind of thing. It's all a sort of blackmail, that's all it is.
They wield too much power, that's what it is. They've got you just swirl like that.
And what are you getting now? You've got a rob paper to pay forward if it works out.
Well, they do. I mean, you're not allowed... These walkabouts, the main thing what we've been on about. No, there's no gaffer on earth should be able to do that to a man. It's a man's right to work. He should work when and where he pleases and how he pleases. Yeah. Shouldn't have to crawl and be worried about his job all the time. I mean, this job, you can get kicked out of it any given minute of the day. And no questions asked.
Without so much as a thank you at the end of it. You do that in any other job, and you get a goal watcher, or you get something to show that you've worked for him. Not in this job. Oh, I didn't know he'd packed up. He's away. You're finished. That's it. You're all out. You're chucked in the dustbin.
There's a man in this town, and he's knackered for going to sea. He still does a trip now and again. At the sufferance of the lads, he does a trip because the lads he's lost most of his fingers. As a matter of fact, I met him yesterday going on the bus. He was going to Preston to get an assessment made. He's lost most of his fingers. And what's it for? What's it for? Nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
They're just not on our side. I mean, we're just dogs to them. They send us to sea and what have you, but it's no good. But everyone's going to fight now. There's going to be a real bust-up in the next, say, 3 or 4 years. There's going to be a real bust-up between the seamen and these firms.
We only want what we am. And the owners seem reluctant to give us that. Because they haven't been given us it. And if they have their way, they'll never give us.
They all work it out between them. We're just like, years ago, the serfs, you know, the ones that had to come and pay their taxes. A bloke used to come up on a horse and that, but they just send you a letter now, things like that, so you're going to see it. They're all, I tell you, it's all monopolised, a lot. There's no way of winning for one bloke. The only way to win, the only way to win now is a united man. And the united man is the strongest force you can get, because the owners know themselves that if we're all together and we're out, they're earning no money. If we're out, we're losing, but they're losing a lot more than what we are. So we'll laugh at them if we all get together.